Speaking of Tottenham, right? One of the things that we're doing on FanFest is the hot take.
Go on.
Right, we've previewed the game. It wouldn't be the weekend preview without a bit of a debate, would it? We'd love a bit of back and forth, a bit of push and pull. Let's get into our hot takes, brought to you by FanFest, the platform that rewards real fans like you. No, I'm joking. You are a real fan. I'm joking. So scan that QR code, use the link below to get involved. Robbie, I think you have our hot take of the week.
Have a hot take. Liverpool on the verge of winning the league. Yeah, and deservedly so, right? However, Tottenham Hotspur are more likely to be relegated in the next 10 years than win the league.
That's
right.
That's fair.
Don't even know if that's hot.
That's you know when you go Nando's.
Nando's.
I ain't even that hot.
Listen, the amount of games that I've seen them lose, right, and they're supposed to be considered a top 6 team. Right? It was the amount of games they've lost this season, right? In the next 10 years, for me, they are more likely to be relegated than to win the league. Over to you, Abby.
Well, can I just double down on my hot take? Flex will be joining them. Listen, they got no money.
That is a hot
The stadium's too expensive. The wages when Sancho and Rashford return, they ain't got the cash. Yeah. Send them down with Tottenham as well.
That's what they got.
Bob's your uncle. Both of you in the championship.
Fanny's your aunt. Bosh.
A league title for Man United, is that really on the horizon anytime soon?
Mate, guess what? Here's a hot take. We're going to be in the Champions League next year and you're not.
It's late.
How about that, mate? You're going to beat Bilbao, mate?
How about that, mate?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
How hot is that?
You're going to beat Bilbao.
Just like last time we put you out of the Europa League. Thought you was getting that. Now you're in the rubbish conference. This year, we're going to be in the Champions League. And what are you going to be doing? Probably conference again. Reigning champions in Conference League. There you go.
Well, what are you going to say to that? I listen, I know it sounds horrible, right? But I'm just like, I'm not saying you're going to get relegated, but it's more likely than you winning a league.
Yeah.
I just can't say.
Yeah.
It's not even that hot, really.
You agree?
Nah, defend it, Abby. You're going to get rid of that manager. You're going to get a new manager.
I was about to.
You're going to be on the M1.
Come on, man.
I was about to.
Come on.
If you could let me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you're probably right. Like Spurs would probably more likely be on the verge of getting relegated than they would be of winning a title based on where we are now and the last 16 years or so. Look, Ange is not going to be there next season. I know it's not been said yet, but it's been the inevitable since February. He's not going to be there regardless whether or not we end up winning a trophy. It's not sustainable. Whether or not you win a trophy or not, you've got a sample size of 38 game season plus whatever was left over from last season as well, from February time. He's not the man.
Yeah, but even if he ain't, who's going to be the man?
I don't know who
You've
will
had
be the
Conte.
man. I know.
You've had Mourinho.
You're preaching to,
you've had look what Nuno's doing. You've had everybody right.
Nuno was never going to be the right fit for Spurs.
They
never
finished,
ever going to be the right
last
fit.
Season.
Last season we finished 5th.
You've got a good team.
Title races, Champions League finals.
The problem was it's different. It's different now. What we built under Pochettino, that's long gone. That's 6 years ago, right? So we need to stop thinking about what happened 6 years ago because that project is long gone. The project was thrown completely off course because Daniel Levy decided he wanted to sack him 3 months after a Champions League final and go get Jose. Never going to be the right fit. Was never going to be the right fit to have Nuno. Was never going to be the right fit to have Conte. Was never going to probably be the right fit to have Ange.
What is the right fit?
I don't know. What type of manager is to have a more balanced manager? Whether that is at some point Pochettino, I don't know. A Thomas Frank or a Marco Silva or a Areola or a Glasner, or I don't know. I don't know the answer. And it's not my job to know the answer. My job isn't the person to recruit someone that I think is going to be a good fit for the club. It's clear that Tottenham are always going to be a project style of club. And you need someone that is balanced in all areas. The reason we ended up with Nuno and the reason we ended up with Ange is because no one wanted to come to Spurs. You know, it's no secret. Ange was 8th choice. Nuno was back end of that list. They had no option. And that will always stem back to why can you not sell to someone Tottenham when all the infrastructure is there? What is it? What's the common denominator and the factor that puts people off coming? I know the answer to that. We all know the answer to that. It's to do with the chairman and it's to do with the board. If you are going to have a manager that is going to have a project, then you have to be patient. With Ange, we were so desperate to have some form of good, exciting football that we'd gone so far the other way from having the Contes and the Joses and Nunos to then having this all-out crazy football, which obviously as fans we were like, well, finally something that we can get excited for. But that's not sustainable either because there's no balance. You've got too pragmatic or too wild, and there needs to be something in the middle. That's not my job to go and do that and find you the manager. That's on the board. Whoever's in charge, directors of football, you go and find it. If you want this club to be successful on the pitch, as it is as a business, give them the right backing. And that doesn't always mean you have to break the bank. Go and do really good research in all the leagues and go and find your Dele Allis of the world and players that didn't cost you the bank under Pochettino 6 years ago, because it can be done. You have to be patient. You have to have a manager that's balanced, focused around being able to defend as well as attack, and actually having a good spine of the team. There are good young players there in a Gray, in a Bergvall, in a Spence, Kulusevski. There are players there, and Solanke, I guess, as well. But you have got to also add experience, and that might cost you a little bit. You've got to stop wasting 50 million here and there on Brennan Johnson or 60 million on Richarlison. And even if it costs you, for example, like last summer when I said about getting an Eze or getting a Conor Gallagher, those tiny little tweaks or just adding that bit of quality into certain areas that they needed it so badly would have probably made the difference at times maybe this season. But because they didn't do that and they went and bought other players, you're left in a situation that, there's not one world-class player at Spurs. Son is not that anymore. Love Son, not hating on Son. It's just facts, and people need to understand that he should be coming on for 20 minutes. He shouldn't be starting a game when fit. And you need to add a little bit more quality to the squad. If you're not going to pay the money in the right areas, and you can't expect anything to change. So,
but 10 years.
Yeah.
What would happen to you if they did get relegated one day?
What would happen to me as a person?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'd be
not much would change.
Not much would change.
Go on more holidays.
I'd be more.
Would you be giving us
there's more
championship
games in the
updates?
Championship.
Saturday, Tuesday, mate. So
I would hope I'd still keep my seat as just championship reporter in this little section.
Oh yeah, wait. If one of us did
EFL Abbey.
If one of us got relegated this
Gone.
Would you get? Would
Would you sack us?
We wouldn't be able to come here. Go on, wait there.
We'd have to do our own
We'd
EFL
have
show.
to do our EFL show.
But we did say we were going to start bottom six.
Yeah, well,
ITV
We're
and
bottom
that.
six.
no, but we couldn't do bottom six. We wouldn't be in the league hunt.
No, I know, but as in we should have started this season bottom six.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then if we both got relegated off that,
We'd have to come off the panel.
We'd do an EFL show.
This is a Premier League show.
It's a Premier League show
Yeah,
talking about the biggest games that
be off.
would be in the champ.
And
They ain't
we-
going to come to us flipping
But would we be able to have the slot?
Plymouth against Man United.
Would you put us on the slot before this show or after? Would it be like, right, that's all the...
show. Remember after match of the day?
Midnight.
Yeah,
With
midnight.
Manish. With man like Manish.
It'd be
Big him up, man.
Midnight slot.
Midnight.
Wow.
We
Who's
should
even
actually
watching
probably
that?
do something
close
for
to happening this
Championship.
year.
Championship is going off. Championship
So
is
If you
so
go
much
down,
more
then you
exciting.
can. You know, you
So
can do
with
something.
with that being said, the
You guys used
FanFest
to go
hot
out to
take.
stadiums and that. Yeah, go do the
I
championship.
don't think it's that
Can't
hot.
feel the
Blackburn.
cold
And Abby
Tuesday
agrees
night.
with it,
Let's go.
unfortunately. Well,
I don't think United. I don't agree with you on that, right? Because United, I
he's
don't know.
just saying that.
They will. They're too big to not come back in some
Correct.
form
Yeah,
in
from
the
the
next
Championship.
in 10 years. No, in
They get
10
promoted.
years.
I'm not saying they won't come
In
back
10
up.
years, they're too big to. But
Do you think
I think
Spurs would come back up from the Championship? Or would they end up being...
You got to win it, so I'm not sure.
Portsmouth.
I reckon if Spurs went down,
second.
they'd say that they'd struggle to get
You
out.
come up via playoffs.
They'd stru-
No, because
struggle.
you get a trophy for the playoffs. So
I'm
second
trying
one, they're
to-
not coming up. The second one, they're not coming up.
Abby, do you think it's just a
Millwall winning the
simple?
trophy,
Do you think
bro.
it's just a simple? Just Levy is the guy that needs to go first.
My overall thing is it's ENIC as a whole. I think
Yeah.
that obviously Levy takes most of the stick because he's the front-facing person, but it's really Joe Lewis and the whole ENIC conglomerate.
I told you the other day I was at Tottenham. There was a conference I was speaking at. I was at Tottenham, and just looking around the ground, like when it's empty, you're looking around. And I've been to the training ground before with my son when he's played there, and I just cannot believe that they ain't won anything. Like it's just like with the setup.
It's mismanagement.
The setup,
And negligence.
everything is there.
I'm like, how do you have this?
Yeah,
It's
some
I
crazy.
said, you change the name of the club, change the badge, change the shirts, change everything. And
Maybe it's
everything will
cursed.
be fine.
I'll tell you.
Maybe just a new club. Don't worry.
You know, like the Newcastle, the gypsy thing, the gypsy curse.
The curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to go and talk to. Like,
I'm convinced there's a
Other word.
curse on Tottenham. Oh, I'm
you
absolutely
need to go and talk to the
convinced of it.
gypsies, man, and like say, yo, lift it,
Well,
man.
you could win the Europa League and all curses will be lifted.
That is true.
Yeah, and that's fine. And if it's
Still in with a chance.
if it
Nah,
takes
there's
me
some- they
22
did something,
losses,
You're bad, man.
If
They
it
did
takes me
something.
22
You know, like they said with the
losses,
Newcastle thing, they moved off a load of caravans off of something. No, that's what they
they've
said.
broken it now. They've broken the joke.
And the gypsy guy said, yeah, you see, right, you've moved. Yeah, you ain't winning nothing else again.
But
So
they
that-
have.
Yeah, because they've obviously gone and talked to them and said, yo,
Made a deal.
guys, sorry, man. You know what I mean?
We didn't read it,
They're going to give you a little plot of land, you come back.
And
That's
now they
what
get
you need to
Carabao
do. You need to go to whoever, there must be, go look back in the history.
Islington Council.
And yeah, you know what I mean?
Chat to them.
Go look back in the history and say, yo, find out, like, there must be someone there and just say, listen.
Well, it was all
we're
after
sorry,
2008.
man.
So
We're sorry. Like,
whatever they've pissed off since 2008.
Because you did something wrong there. And then you upset the people, bro, and they put that curse on, it's over.
It's all over.
So you better need to go and talk, right? And say, please, go, sorry.
I need to take my sage to the
Sorry.
stadium.
Right,
Yeah.
so that was our
Watching me
FanFest
with
hot
South
take.
Asian.
With that in the corner.
Literally just me up and down the south stand.
That was a good hot take, that one. And we will be having much more of those throughout the end of the season, thanks to FanFest.